does it work? Hello everyone, and I'm very glad to be here for the second time. And I will be quite fast because I have a live demo to do, and I will see if I can squeeze it into 30 minutes. Today I'm going to talk about Vue to the edge. I'm Sebastien Chopin, and you can find me on the social network with @Nuxt. And I'm the author of Nuxt and CEO at Nuxt Labs. Nuxt 3 can create edge full stack Vue applications. I do like to invent a word every year. And edge is a new paradigm that I really love, and it's quite similar to server-side rendering when I talked about it 7 years ago. The edge is a limited JavaScript environment running on CDN nodes. So you know when you publish on a static hosting, it's replicated everywhere, and it's super fast. And it's similar, but being dynamic. Like I said, once you deploy, it's replicated on all those servers, also called nodes. And this is an example of the Cloudflare network. And it has many advantages. It renders quickly, so we're talking about milliseconds from your end users, whenever they are, whatever they are in the world. It has 0 millisecond call start compared to AWS Lambda, where it has to warm up a server. You have no servers to maintain. It scales automatically. It is quite affordable. If I take an example of Cloudflare, we're talking about $5 per month for 10 million requests, and not about one server, but you can have 10,000 applications. For these 10,000 applications, you don't even have 1 million requests. It stays at this $5 per month. And then it's 30 cents per additional million requests. But there are also edge computing providers, Cloudflare Pages, Dino Deploy, Lake.app, which is an open source platform that you can also self-host, Vercel Edge Functions based on Cloudflare, Netlify Edge Functions based on Dino, Edge.io, StackPath, and I won't be surprised if the author of Bun create his own platform for Oven. But it has limitations, of course. The edge runtime is different than Node, and the browser. You remember when you started server-side rendering and you had this error like window is not defined on the server? It's the same. You don't have access to window, you don't have access to the file system because it's using V8, which is the engine under Google Chrome. And you cannot deploy an application bigger than 10 megabytes. But dependency as well as other dependency of your application, because once you build for production, we trace all the dependency and create this .output directory, so you can remove the node module and be able to deploy on any hosting. There are also databases coming to the edge. It's mostly based on replicas and an HTTP proxy. For SQLite, you can find Cloudflare D1 as well as Turso for another provider. On this Postgres, you have Neon and Supabase, MySQL with PlanetScale, and on the key value storage, you have Upstash based on Redis, Cloudflare KV, and Dino KV. And there are more that we can complete on these slides, but feel free to ping me to add them. Let's start with a demo. I hope you can see the screen properly, or do you want me to zoom? Good. That's a big zoom. So this is a Nuxt application. I added a UI module. We have Nuxt Hot Utils that I released 4 days ago that allow you to add authentication to your server rendered application. UI Pro that allow me to make a nice looking application faster. 2 icon set and the DevTools enabled. I also have a server directory that I prepared for this demo. I'm using useDB, I created a useDB function that is going to be soon in Nuxt with the upcoming release of Nitro that will allow you to have a database plugged to your Nuxt application if you need to. So depending on the environment, I'm using D1, otherwise I'm using a SQLite database. Then I'm exporting the tables from DB tables, schema, sorry, it's empty right now. And I have a server plugin that is running my migration in development if I have some migrations. Note that in the utils directory, everything that I export will be auto-imported in the server directory. So far, let's see how it looks like. Beautiful. So that's it. I will start by adding a header. And on that logo, I will explain what the project is. So it's a guest book. I want you to be able to log in with GitHub and give a comment. If in 24 minutes I can make this demo. So I will let the ability to switch to dark. What do you prefer, light or dark? Dark, okay. Then let's add a container. So I want to make sure I can log into this application using GitHub. So I'm going first to use my composable, use user session, and I can know if my user is logged in, and I can also clear my session if I'm logged in. So let's have a U button, which is a button. And I can say that if I'm logged in, oh, thank you. And let's make it gray. I can see that I was already logged in because I may have trained for this demo once. Otherwise, I will say login with GitHub. And because I like to make it nice, I will use simple icon GitHub. I know it's very important to do this on stage. And I will go to this /out/GitHub route, but it's not a page, it's not a view page, it's a server route. So for this, I'm going to say external, so it will use a normal A link. And if I click on this, I say if I click on this, okay, it tells me it's a 404 page. So I go on server, create routes github.get.ts. .get is not required, but I like it because it's specified it's only for GET request. And then I have my Nuxt auth utils module that explores me a auth. And then I can say GitHub event handler. And I have different options, but I need the onSuccess function. And I have my event from H3 from the Nuxt server. And here I can get the user. So let's return the user. And in order to work, I will basically need to specify some environment variable like this. You have seen the secret. And let me, so auth, nice catch, thank you guys. I'm missing the auth directory, so it's /auth/GitHub. I refresh, and I can see that I have my user from GitHub here. So what I want to do is to set the user session. So it will create a sealed cookie, so an encrypt cookie that I can reuse on the front end. So for this, I will set user session, giving the event. And I don't want to put all the data, only the data I need. So I would say username is user.login. And then I want to redirect to my application. So let's start again. As you may notice, I don't need to restart my server when I change my server-side code because we handle auth module replacement on Nuxt. Otherwise, it's a nightmare to create to write full stack code if you have to restart your Nuxt server every time. So now I can log in with GitHub and log out. the first time you get asked to authorize the OAuth application, but as you may have guessed, I already did this demo once in my room. Then let's go to our index page. So what I want to do is to display my list of comments. I will pretend some of you guys already commented. So I will have an ID, author, I will say Daniel, I will say Eduardo. Damn, Nuxt is cool, better than Pina. Then I will use page body here. Put some colon, and I will use the card to loop through my comments, set a key, and display the comment.body. Okay, now let's add the user, the author, because I'm not sure who said this. I will use an avatar for this. GitHub. Thank you. Nope, not this time. And I have my avatar, and I will add also the author. So this is not very nice. Let's add some flex magic. I think this looks better this way. I'm sure you agree. Okay, last thing, it would be nice if I can click and go to this GitHub account to make sure that he posted a nice comment. Comment.author. And I will set a target of blank. And this is indeed Eduardo. So thank you for your comment. So what I want to do is, if I'm logged in, I want to be able to post my comment. If not, I need to log in. So I will copy paste this, get the user, and I will add in a card if I'm not logged in. I will also add this login with GitHub, because there is not enough login button, in my opinion. Login to comment. So if I'm not logged in, I can log in to comment. Better in black. And how to lose some time. Okay, so when I log in, now I want to be able to post my comment. So I'm going to copy paste this, pretend it's me directly. Good. So if I'm not here, I will use a text area. Let's say 1. I will say autofocus and auto resize. And I have my user.username. Hope it works. Okay, so now I'm able to post a comment, but I don't have any API or database ready for that. So let's go on the server part and create my table. So I will export this comments table using SQLite table, name it comments. ID will be an integer. This is the column name, and it's a primary key. I will have an author, which is a text, not null. Same for the body. And what I want to make sure on the database side is I only have one comment per user. So I'm getting the table here. I will return an object with this key called unique author, and I will create this unique index on the table author. I'm going to save. I will run this migration command, which is basically calling drizzle key generate SQLite, restarting my server. Then this migration plugin will make sure that it runs the migration, and I can check on my SQLite table locally that I do have my comments table ready. Cool. Now I'm going to create an API route to list all my comments. So I'm exporting a event handler and returning useDB that I created in the utils. I will select all my comments from tables.comments because I'm also exporting the tables object because I don't like imports, you may have guessed with Nuxt, from command all. So I don't have Postman, but I have the Nuxt DevTools. And on the Nuxt DevTools, you can go to the server route. And thank you, Arash, for doing this. He may be here. And we have a small Postman here if we want to test our API route. So it works. I'm going to create comment without an s.put for the user comment. So here I'm getting the event. I want to validate this data. So I will import Zid from Zod, which is a validation library. And I will validate the data of the body I will receive by using read validated body, which is part of the Nuxt server, getting the event, and then I'm giving the object body, which is a string that I want to trim, and which has a minimum length of 1. And because the read validated body is generic, I need to give him a function, and that's the parse method that is exported by z.object. And then let's return the body to see how it looks like. I will test this API endpoint, say body which is empty, and it tells me it's too small. Same here. Now it works. Second thing I need to do is I want to make sure that the user is authenticated in order to make this API call. So I will get the user session, but I will make sure that I'm requiring the user session. So if I'm not connected, I should not be able to make this API call. So let's making sure I'm connected again. Now I can make this API call. I can get back the user here. And if I return the user, I have my user username. So I can create this comment in my database. Const comment. Same here, I use my database. I will insert into tables.comments the values. Author is user.username. I don't have auto-completion. Hello? Okay. I don't have auto-completion here because user is possibly undefined. For this is just a type error, but for the sake of TypeScript, I will create this out.t.ts and declare, so I can pretend I know TypeScript, utils. Thank you, Daniel, for making this pull request in the hot module utils. And username is a string. And now if I go back, I have my types that works properly. So I'm inserting my comment. So I want to make sure I get back the data because by default SQLite doesn't return you the data, just the number of rows inserted, and get it. I have my comment. Now I'm going to update it. It tells me it cannot insert in the database again. So what I can do is use on conflict do update. The target is, oh God, tables.comments.author, which is our index. And if that's the case, just update the body. And I have now my API endpoint that can update, create a comment or update my comment. You won't be able to delete your comment. Not on this demo. So now I have my API. I can use my data. So for this, I'm going to call useFetch. And let's see. Normally, we have autocompletes for that. It's loading. Well, I won't wait too long for that, but yes, we have autocomplete for the API routes, but on top of this, we are able to infer the type directly on your Vue application. So what I want to have is, I want to get the user comment, which is computed, and not really, but comments.value .find. It has the author, and this is user.value. If I'm authenticated, .username. I also have the other comments, which is the opposite. You will understand why I do this. Okay. So I will loop through the other comments now. So obviously, I won't have any comment. This is a filter for other comments. Better. So if I log in, I should be able to edit my comment. So for that, I'm going to create a user comment body, which is a ref, which is exactly this. If I already commented, I will get the body. Otherwise, it's empty because I never. That say you're editing only if it's equal to empty, so the first time. Dot value, thank you. And let's display this only if I'm editing, otherwise I will display my quote user comment body. So since I already commented with the API, it displays directly my comment. I can do dbl click, editing equal true, or I can also add a button if I'm not on a desktop and I cannot double click. So if I'm not editing, ouais, nice. Cons pencil. This is ugly. Oh no. Let's pretend it was like this. Instead, variant ghost. Okay. And we will make it absolute. Okay, so I can click, edit. I forgot else here. And if I blur, I will save my comment. That simple. Async function save comment. So one note about useFetch is that it handles server-side rendering, store it into the state to avoid making an API call on the client side. So if I take a look at the payload of my page, we can see that the comments has been in the payload, so I don't have any client-side call to my comments API. This is the advantage of using useFetch. Here, I don't need to use useFetch, but directly call $fetch to update or create my comment, body. I will also make sure that if your body is empty, I will return, then I can await and set editing.value equal false. And pretend the API call always work for this demo. So double click, hello Vue Toronto, save, I refresh, it works, I log out, it works as well. I think we are ready. Shall we deploy? Let's pretend you say yes. Let's go. So what I've done before this talk is creating a GitHub repository called Nuxt.js book. Made some commits before and just for testing, but I created a D1 database. And on this database, I have created the table. So for that, I simply had to go to this migration, copy paste on the console, and then it created my tables. On this project, I had to create the environment variable in order to work and link my D1 database. Then I let the deployment run. It will run using the Nuxt build command and do its magic. And we just have to wait about 10 minutes now. Normally it's a bit faster. So in the meantime, what I can do is I will make this repository public. If you want to look at this code. So now it's public. There is more information about this than the talk. And it's deploying to Cloudflare Worker. So it took 1 minute to build the application. Now, if I refresh again, we have this demo online. So I should be, wow, it works for real. If I refresh, it seems to work. So let's see if you guys can quickly comment. Or if it's only working for my username. But from what I understand, normally it should work for others. We have 2 minutes left. So next time I will add WebSocket in order to refresh automatically the page, but I will pretend that we have WebSocket here. And it's working. We have server-side rendering. So everything is server rendered. Also, if you're logged in, oh guys, thank you very much for the comments. And you know that you have the GitHub account associated, so you cannot really... Thank you. And thank you, Arash, by the way, for this postman in the DevTools. So I think that's it. This application, if we take a look quickly about this metrics, about the function metrics, we can see that we had 600 requests for the last 30 minutes, 395 requests, and the median CPU time is about 20 milliseconds. So the application, the Nuxt 3 application deployed on the edge, renders in 22 milliseconds. This is the biggest difference between Nuxt 2 and Nuxt 3. It is very, very fast, faster than most of the other frameworks I've tested, but I may not have tested all of them. But thank you very much for all your comments. And the demo is online, the GitHub is online. You can also check out other demo I created. So for fun, I also created ATI notes. And it's leveraging Cloudflare KV for that. So I can log in. Password 33. And then I can edit this page. And this is Markdown. And I can say hello Toronto /Toronto. It's saved. I can go to /Toronto. So this page, double click, say title Vue Toronto. Oh God, Toronto. Description. Oh God. So I have this page, but what I had fun also doing is if you share this page to your social network, you will also see that we are generating an OJ image on the edge based on your title and description. The source code is also open source on @Nuxt/@Notes. And it doesn't use a SQLite database, but a Cloudflare KV for that one. And I'm running now out of time. So thank you very much.
Amazing. All right, I got a quick question for you, Monsieur Chopin.
Well,
I see you use Arc, your favorite browser.
yeah, I don't know yet.
Oh,
it's a good one. It's a very good one.
Okay, just checking.
It's,
I'm letting you guys think. No questions still? All right, here's my last question. We were talking about the edge in 22 milliseconds, and it's all about speed. For those that don't know, Monsieur Chopin's about to run a marathon very soon. And do you have any idea on the speed that you're predicting?
I try to make it in 3.5 hours.
Okay.
I mean, we'll train tomorrow, right?
Maybe. Maybe. All right, give it up for Monsieur Chopin, please.
Thank you.